Okay, I'm here at the north entrance to the museum. Looks like a fairly formidable building. I wonder if these guns turn around. Because if you could do that, you could probably shoot out the front entrance. It's not going to fall down easily. And it would also probably destroy the things that you were going to steal. There's already scaffolding on the roof, that could be helpful. But I don't know what good a crane would do here. There aren't really any balconies. I'm not casing the joint, I'm just scouting. You could get a crane up here, I reckon, on the grass. But it looks like offices. So if you're up for stealing a stapler, something like that, I'd say it'd be a poor return for your efforts. I feel at the moment that the gift shop has the biggest store of jewellery in this museum, which might be the way to go. I'm Alexia Russell, and today on The Detail, I'm at Auckland's War Memorial Museum, inspired by events this week in Paris.
The French Minister of Culture confirms the Louvre has been robbed.
A hunt is underway for thieves after priceless jewels were stolen from one of the world's most famous museums.
Definitely a huge embarrassment. This was a very quick, brazen theft.
France's culture minister, Rachida Dati, told TV network TF1 it all took only around 4 minutes.
The Louvre in Paris has been closed to visitors today as 60 investigators try to find members of a gang who stole crown jewels from the museum.
They stole, we understand, 9 of them, including things on tiaras, brooches and so on. It's reported that they dropped one big jewel as they made their escape. They went down the ladder, got onto some motorbikes, sped off. So far, no sign of them.
The jewellery stolen from the Louvre in a daring daylight robbery has been valued at 88 million euros, or 178 million New Zealand dollars. But actually, it's priceless. Gone is a piece of French history. And experts are warning it's probably already too late to get them back in one piece.
We'll never find them, he tells me. Diamonds don't beep when you take them through airport security. He assumes the treasures will be broken up and sold for a fraction of their real value.
All it took was a truck, a ladder, power tools, some motorbikes, and 4 minutes.
The theft is likely to raise some awkward questions about security at the museum. Earlier this year, the Louvre, which is the world's most visited museum, requested urgent help from the French government to renovate its aging halls and protect its art.
We have to say that these are professionals. Organized crime today targets objects of art, and museums, of course, have become targets, because France, as you know, is a country of heritage, a country with historical objects of heritage with great value.
But not like New Zealand, right? We don't have rooms of glittering emeralds and diamonds or jewellery pieces that go back several hundred years. So what is the most valuable item in the Auckland Museum?
The building itself. That's our largest and most valuable taonga. Value is such a subjective thing. So something that might be valuable to you is going to be different from what's valuable to me. And it really is the different stories, the different histories, whatever they are, people assign values in different ways. So, we've got so many unique things here. It's impossible to say, this one's more valuable than that, because it depends what context you're talking about.
I feel you're being a bit elusive. You're not even trying, really, to answer my question.
I'm answering it honestly. It's, we've got 6 million things here.
6 million?
Yeah.
Museum Chief Executive David Reeves is so confident I'm not here to plan a heist that he's showing me around. I even get a floor plan. The Diva exhibition has just closed. It had some serious bling in it, including several outfits worn by Rihanna and a Marilyn Monroe costume from Some Like It Hot. It was held on the ground floor in an exhibition space where there are no external windows and it's easy for visitors to find.
It's just an accident of the geometry of the building that's the easiest place for them to be.
And these exhibitions usually get kind of imported holus bolus from somewhere else, right?
They do, yeah. They come as a turnkey package. Sometimes we add a few additional items from our own collection, or in this case for Diva we borrowed a gown from Kiritakanawa. But pretty much they come with the labels, the mounts, and the artefacts themselves.
And
Yep.
do they come with security requirements?
They sure do, yes. So there's only a certain number of facilities in New Zealand that would qualify, and so there's a really rigorous process that happens years ahead in the planning of these things. And it's also air conditioning requirements. It's around things like what our visitor services practices are. So security is a multi-layered thing.
And what did you have to promise to get, to nail that exhibition? Did you have to put extra security in?
It wasn't extra security. They were happy with our routine practice. So we fill out what's called a facilities report, and this is for any borrowing of items from other museums. And they go through things like what's your fire suppression systems like? Where are the exits and entrances? What are the exterior windows? What's the proximity of them? What alarm systems have you got? Do you have 24-hour security, or is it just during the day? All of those sorts of things. It's a really exhaustive list, and whoever's lending the show we'll just look through that and we'll have a discussion about if there's any sort of points which they want to find out more information. But we've got a pretty good facility here, so usually there's not too much trouble.
Yeah, well, the place that you usually have these exhibitions isn't in a sort of internal space, isn't it? There are no external windows.
No. So and any external windows that are there are really securely boarded up. So, yeah.
What about people, security people? Do they have to be vetted?
Yes, so all of our security staff go through normal police checks, which is a pretty standard employment procedure when they come on board.
And do you only have that security for these flash exhibitions?
No, not at all. No. So
I can't see
we have
here.
we have general security for the whole of the museum. It wouldn't be prudent of me to describe in detail what that is, because that's one of the things that we do is actually just provide assurance confidentially to lenders, but it would be a bit daft to then point out to everybody exactly what those measures are.
Well, I'm standing in the south entrance, and all I can see is one kid with an earpiece wearing black. Quite suspicious. Doesn't look like security. Looks very helpful. Looks too helpful for security. There he is helping someone.
That's right.
Is he part of the deal or not?
Well, all of our front of house team got a dual role of looking after visitors and looking after the collections and building. And as well as that, there are other systems employed to keep an eye on things.
Okay, so where are the jewels?
The jewels?
Yeah.
The French jewels?
Any jewels? Anything expensive? Take me to the expensive stuff.
Well, again, we wouldn't be putting a price tag on things. So we deliberately don't put a big sign above the things that are the most expensive. But also, for museums, the monetary value is actually not the point of why they're being collected or looked after. So, in fact, the monetary value is the least important thing for us. It's actually cultural value, historical value, what's meaningful to families that have donated things. So we don't ever disclose the values of things. And actually, so many things, it's hard to put a price on them anyway. So that we actually don't, put a whole lot of time and effort into getting too hung up on exactly what the dollar values are. It's more important that things are safe and accessible. And therein lies the tension, because we, as a public museum, we have to do both. We have to make things accessible, because that's our job, and we have to keep them safe, because that's also our job. So the community expects us to walk this tightrope between security and accessibility.
And I guess, other than the eye candy value of sparkly things, there are other reasons. There'll be other reasons to break into the museum, right? If, like, you're talking culturally, if historically, if someone wanted their stuff back, is that a thing you need to be aware of?
Yeah, it is. And that sort of political risk, if you like, or the sense that people feel that certain things shouldn't be in the museum, that's a risk, and it's something that we do take measures just to be aware of what those things are. And a lot of it is around building up relationships. So with donors and communities who have a very strong association with items, and just making sure that we are good and appropriate custodians.
Four yellows. One red.
You can't actually see the glass dome from the outside of the museum, so I'll have to get some inside knowledge on that one. If I was to break the dome on top and rappel down,
Yes.
what would I find?
Well, you'd probably hurt yourself to start with.
No, I am an expert now.
Because it's pretty shatterproof glass, so you'd have a hard job getting in the first place.
But I'd use one of those special glass cutting tools.
Okay, you've thought this through, haven't you?
I've watched a lot of movies.
We've got a whole lot of systems that would detect that pretty soon. You would have a pretty tough job getting too far.
So you don't keep a diamond in a glass case underneath the dome?
No. Sorry about that.
So disappointed. Can I see anyway? Can we go up and have a look? Can you see the dome?
The glass dome on the top?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going up to the top of the building, but on the way, my eye is caught by 3 beautiful coloured bird sculptures. They'd be quite valuable, wouldn't they?
Not commenting on that.
I would take the red keruru.
They're beautiful.
They're absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And within sort of arm's reach. So if I reached my arm over, would an alarm go?
Yes, it would. And they're not actually within arm's reach. I mean, the thing about this is that it is this tension I talked about. So we could put the birds in a glass case, but that would completely change the relationship that people are able to have with them. And it's a tension that we constantly manage. And to make things completely safe, we could put everything in the basement. You know, the safest museum is a closed museum. We've had recent experience of that with our asbestos issue, and that's not what we're here for.
Yeah.
So we do everything that is reasonable to make things accessible and to guard against opportunistic damage or theft or tampering. I think it's always hard to 100% protect against malicious intent.
Police have arrested 12 protesters involved with defacing the English version of the Tiriti o Waitangi exhibit at Te Papa. Abseiling equipment, spray paint and a power tool were used to vandalise the wooden panel. The protest groups say the translation displayed at our National Museum is misleading.
If people really, really want to cause trouble, there are ways for them to do that. But then we've also got people and systems just keeping an eye out for that.
Okay, so if I reached my arm across that rail towards that beautiful red bird, the alarm would go off and would people come running?
There would be a response.
Once on the 4th floor, the only precious thing in sight is the view out across Auckland to Rangitoto. This is a function space and there's barely even any furniture. My movie-informed research is coming up short. This could be harder than I thought. And David informs me that right now we are on camera being watched by the museum's security team. OK, let's go and look at the war part of the War Memorial. We land at the military medals section.
Police on the hunt for the robbers who stole war medals in December arrived at TV3 this afternoon with a search warrant following last night's Campbell Live interview with a man claiming to be one of the thieves.
In 2007, the Waiouru Army Museum was broken into and 96 medals, including Charles Upham's Victoria Cross and Bar, were stolen. They were worth $5 million. A global search took place, a reward was offered, the thieves were caught and the medals returned nearly a year later.
That Waiouru experience had happened when we designed this display, and so, you know, as a profession we keep in touch with each other, and each time there is an incident then we have a think about what would have been better to prevent that. And so each iteration just improves the security but also improves the accessibility. So I mean this display here, we've got all of our military medals out on display because one of the things that's most important is for the people who are descended from the people they were awarded to, they want access, and they're incredibly personally important.
And since the Louvre was broken into this heist and the crown jewels, taken. You were saying before that you're part of an international...
Well, it's just a professional network that just keep in touch on not just these items, but all sorts of professional standards and developments.
Would there be anything that Auckland would do in the wake of that heist to change things up?
Whenever there's something like this that happens, we have a quick look, we have a think, a review, and if we detect that there's something that we could improve, then we'll do that. But nothing specific and nothing to sort of put in lights for sure.
But the art gallery at the moment is hosting the Toledo exhibition, which has got Monet and Van Gogh.
Gone home, but yes,
right.
Yep.
I mean, would it be easy to break in there?
I wouldn't expect so. I used to work there. I was the senior registrar there, and they have similar, really robust, and it's multi-layered. That's the thing. It's no one thing that's usually protecting collections. It's a whole range of systems and procedures.
So do you have those laser lights that Catherine Zeta-Jones had to go in and out of?
I've got a proposition for you. I'm a thief. I give you the world's tallest building and home of the International Clearance Bank. Do I have your attention now?
Undivided.
Fanciful.
Where are they?
Do you think I'm going to tell you where they are?
It's like trying to crack a walnut with sore fingers, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, sorry about that.
This place houses a security system that rivals most nuclear missile silos.
Smash and grab job, huh? Slightly more complicated than that.
But when this building was built, in between the wars...
Yep.
Would there have been a mindset on security, or would it just have been...
I think so. I mean, that was certainly consideration, and the way the displays were designed, and the layering of the building, and the fact that the windows are above sort of normal person height, for example. So there would have been design features built in then. We've added to that substantially over the years as technology has become available, as awareness of these things has grown. So it's a constant area of review, and if we find that we're not comfortable with something, or that we detect there's a vulnerability, then we'll move to address it.
What's your annual security bill?
Not disclosing that.
It's not available in public documents?
No, it's not. And for good reason, because,
you could reverse engineer it, could you? Work out where the gaps are.
And that confidentiality around that information is part of the system to protect. And the public expect us to look after the things that have been entrusted to us. So we will take whatever measures necessary to keep information confidential and it's an interesting balance, because part of the security, you want it to be visible. You want for people to be aware, oh, actually, yep, there's a camera there, I'm being watched. But you also have layers which you can't see. So it's a multi-pronged, multi-layered approach.
Actually, one of the biggest worries for museums like this is not bad guys in balaclavas, it's fire.
And so part of our preparedness is to just test those systems periodically, and we'll run an exercise where we've suddenly had to evacuate the building for some reason, or that an incident has happened, and we just run through the paces, test all of our communications.
So do you have any of those steel doors that come crashing down when there's...
There are fire doors like that, yep, and that's part of a smoke detection and smoke protection system, where a large complex building like others around the city, it has fire cells within it, and so when alarms go off, then there'll be a segmentation of the building. But that's pretty normal.
They shut off the air to drive out the tourists. Then they close the gates to keep everybody out. Diversion. Make a lot of noise over there. So over here in this room, you can take 100 million off the wall and waltz right out the front door. Oh, that's good.
Oh, yes.
It's actually quite funny watching a number of those movies where you see, I mean, my favourite is one of the movies where all of the fire sprinklers went off in a building. Well, actually, that's not how fire sprinklers work. So it's actually quite interesting when you've got a bit of inside knowledge and you see things on the movies and go, yeah, not really, not so much.
Do you think people get ideas from stuff like that?
Potentially, but I think the fact that it is a slightly drift from reality, means that it's not a real risk.
It must, as a curator of cultural artefacts, though, it must absolutely break your heart that someone's taken those jewels and will probably melt them down.
Yeah, no, and we don't know what's going to happen to them.
If yesterday was all about the shock and the drama of the theft, today the mood here has shifted. French people in particular angry that this could have been allowed to happen, and sad at what their country and their culture has lost.
It's a real blow to people's professional morale and sense of that they're doing a good job when something like that happens. It's devastating for the staff because it undoes a whole lot of good work, and it dents the public's trust in the assumption that things are being kept safe. So yeah, it's a blow for sure.
In terms of the people who stole those jewels, what are their options for fencing them?
Well, and it really depends what their motivation was in the first place, and we don't know that yet because they haven't been apprehended and interviewed as far as we know. They're pretty well documented, and so trying to sell them on the open market would seem to be unlikely. Melting them down, the price of gold is quite attractive at the moment, but that would
hugely reduce their value.
It would hugely reduce their value, yeah. And there are some scurrilous private collectors who might be interested, but it's a weird thing because they can never publicly say that they've got them. So it would be for some sort of private aggrandizement to know that they're the ones who've got them. And there are examples of other things that have gone missing from museums in the past where they have gone to the private basements of collectors. It really depends on what people's motivation is.
Now, interview over. How do we get out of this labyrinth?
It's not a straightforward business, so I mean that is another form of inadvertent protection, I guess, is that if somebody broke into the building, they would then also have to work out their route out, and by then I think we'd be onto them.
That's it for this week. The Detail is a newsroom production supported by RNZ and New Zealand On Air. This episode was engineered by William Saunders and produced by Gwen McClure. Thanks to David Reeves for showing us around the Auckland Museum. I'm Alexia Russell, exiting through the gift shop. There's some beautiful things in here. This is definitely where I would come first. And the cabinet door is open and pretty unguarded.